Republicans on Capitol Hill were quick to support the action. House Speaker Mike Johnson describing it as an effort to clean up Washington, end the crime wave, and restore the beauty of the greatest capital in the world. House Oversight Chairman James Comer is planning a September hearing with Washington, D.C., Mayor Muriel Bowser, and other district officials. The chairman noting the committee's constitutional duty to oversee D.C. Democrats, meanwhile, pushed back. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said there is no basis for a federal takeover of D.C., and Democrat Senate Leader Chuck Schumer described the move as a political ploy and attempted distraction. President Trump plans to expand the federal law enforcement directive into other high-crime cities like Chicago. Homelessness and violent crime are the focus of some recent moves by the Trump administration. President Trump yesterday vowed to move homeless encampments out of D.C. parks while announcing a federal takeover of police force and an executive order as well. And into long-term institutional settings by using civil commitment to restore public order. NTD's Daniel Monahan spoke with a certified addiction professional for analysis of the president's plans.
Civil commitment means a court ordering someone into treatment for mental health or substance abuse issues. It usually happens when a person is deemed a danger to themselves or others. Master Certified Addiction Professional John Pulse says when the deinstitutionalization movement was started in around 1965 under JFK, the plan was to remove a very large population of people that had been in long-term state institutions and integrate them back into the community.
Unfortunately, those support services that were supposedly going to be in place to help those people didn't exist. And also, there simply were people that really needed to be in that institutional setting that because of a mass closure of institutions were no longer able to. So in short, there are many people that are chronically experiencing homelessness with severe mental illness that should be institutionalized and often will not go willingly.
Pulse says to implement Trump's order effectively, the first step would be to actually have ethical, safe institutions for these individuals to go to.
The idea of the executive order, in theory, is a good one overall, but my response to that is, where are they going to go? You know, there's been a massive closure of state hospitals. There simply aren't enough beds. So the first thing to do would be to make sure that there are actually institutions that are available. And then after that, there should still be some type of due process involved in terms of initiating an involuntary commitment. So in Florida, we have the Baker Act, which can be initiated by a clinician, law enforcement, or a judge.
Prior to the deinstitutionalization, over 500,000 people in the United States were in long-term institutions. Now that number is around 30 to 40,000. Pulse says once you sort out where people will be housed and treated, there's a way that you can implement what he calls compassionate involuntary commitment.
There's a point at which somebody does not possess the insight to get help. And if they don't possess the insight to get help, and they have no recognition that they're having a problem, to expect them to just one day be like, wow, I have mental health issues, I'll go get help. That's just not going to happen. So the compassionate thing to do is what we call treatment over objection.
A major concern about institutions is past stories of rampant abuse of people housed there.
There would need to be oversight by state and local governments, accreditation organizations. For example, in Florida, the Department of Children and Family Services would need to certify and accredit and monitor these organizations to make sure that standards are being upheld.
President Trump's order says tens of billions of dollars have been spent on failed programs that address homelessness, but not its root causes, leaving other citizens vulnerable to public safety threats.
Harm reduction alone, a housing first initiative without adequate services and without the person being stable enough to even be in the housing, is not going to be effective. So I don't believe that the best path would be to eliminate harm reduction and housing initiatives altogether, but that person has to be stable enough to even participate in programming like that. And often the only way to do that is through civil commitment and at times forced medication.
Pulse says early intervention is key when people have severe mental health issues as they progressively get worse over time. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
After President Trump took control of D.C.